Rethink the future. Under this motto, the elite of the real estate industry meets at the first re.comm. The Innovation Summit meeting of the property sector takes place in Kitzbühel at the beginning of December 2012. 4 core subject areas dominate the first re.comm: economics, ethics and compliance, science, renewable energies and globalization. In each field, leading experts provide important impulses for widening horizons during their talks in the K3 Kids Congress.
We kiss economically, we love economically, we breathe economically, we die economically.
These are complex times, not only economically. Politics, environmental issues, modern technologies are constantly challenging society, especially those who bear responsibility. That is why re.comm 12 gathers together decision makers of the international real estate sector in Kitzbühel to get new impulses and explore new ways. They are accompanied by high-class speakers from various fields, who leave no doubt that there is a need for action.
Die Neuzeit, meine Damen und Herren.
The modern era is about to end, ladies and gentlemen, that is for sure. We don't trust our politicians anymore. They're all lying. We don't trust the economy, religion, church. My God, the recent scandals, it's awful.
Religionen, Kirchen, mein Gott, die Skandale der letzten Jahre, das ist doch furchtbar.
Wir sind im Moment dabei, das Erdsystem.
We are currently throwing the Earth's system off balance in a way that has never happened before since mankind exists.
Wir führen ein Experiment.
We are conducting an experiment on a planetary scale.
Planeten Erde aus.
Not only environmental problems have reached a planetary scale, economic mechanisms play an increasingly important role. Above all, capitalism.
Capitalism is a machine. Think of it as a machine. The machine will create 2 piles, efficient, inefficient. This is what the machine can do, sort things, no more and no less. Globalization and information technology has speeded up this machine. We have constructed something that is unbelievably powerful and that now can bring down whole states. Greece. Got you.
Greece, by the way, is ahead of us. They've just bankrupted some 20, 30 years before we would. So we should be really grateful, because that's a very nice, scary example. Greece is in this, I think, sort of a scary model of what would happen with all of us.
Bleak prospects, but at least we know what's ahead of us and can take action. What is needed is obvious: innovation. New ideas, new paths. But what is true innovation? How can it be used?
Innovation is the creation of recipes that deliver better solutions. Radical innovation, innovation that really changed the world, rarely comes from mainstream players. It rarely comes from big companies, big organizations. It invariably comes from people working in margins with few resources, who see the world in different ways.
So the real race that we're in today is actually not just the race for growth, it's also the race for renewal. It's the race to change as fast as the environment is changing around you. It's the race to find new sources of profit before the old sources of profit disappear.
At least in technology, there seems to be no lack of new sources. Innovation has already arrived. And it's not only profitable, it's fun. Children love to play, so do grown-ups, and that is gamification. It's not far from a Lego house on a tablet screen to a virtual tour of a property, an opportunity that the real estate industry cannot afford to miss. Imagine meeting a client and wanting to show them a property. Usually you have your information sheets, but maybe the client would like to see the property in 3D. Now they can look at the building from every angle and are more involved. But the virtual world is not the only one that is evolving, also the one in which we now live and work. So, what does the future look like for us? Enormous change. Away from a very mechanistic understanding of work towards a really great one, you have to say it like that lives up to people's needs, that allows them to do their own thing. Doing your own thing, that requires a fitting environment.
Die Idee war, dass das Büro wird
wie eine Stadtlandschaft.
The idea was creating an office that was like a city. Imagine taking a walk in Vienna, shopping, having coffee, going to the cinema. That is leisure time.
Kaffee trinken, dann gehen Sie irgendwo spazieren, gehen ins Kino.
And, very similar, the idea of the designers was to create an office which meets all those needs, in which there are short distances and, most of all, areas of communication.
Und in der eben kurze Wege bestehen und vor allen Dingen Kommunikationszonen.
Communication, cooperation, the key words for the workplace of the future. A development to which employers must also adapt. The battle for the top managers of the future is only getting harder.
Hier sind wir bei diesem War for Talents und der ist real. Was sind die Prioritäten für die jungen Leute?
This is the war for talents, and it is real. What are young people's priorities? Young people unanimously say, what kind of team will I work with? What is the atmosphere like? Because young people know working hours are a lifetime. That means who wants to win the war for talents needs leadership qualities. But these are not as widespread as some would like to believe. Not every manager is a true leader.
Führungspersönlichkeiten schaffen es.
Leaders create an atmosphere of trust. Mere managers don't necessarily succeed in that. After all, it needs three things to create trust. We have to be competent, we have to be reliable, and we have to act appropriately. A nice idea. Sadly, it rarely represents reality. There, we are confronted with power games, pressure and intrigue. Whether professional suicide or car chases with the boss. Thankfully, at re.comm, these things happen only on stage, but in a highly amusing manner.
Nächsten Tags Meeting, 20 Minuten läuft, ich melde mich.
The next day, 20 minutes into the meeting, I raise my hand. Do you know those irritated looks from your colleagues? What is that guy going for again? Then I say, I have an idea for a project, which I just yesterday arranged with our boss, by the way. The boss nods. How many people do you think will still openly disagree now? Well, sometimes there's one. We like to call those the authentic suicidals. I love those guys. They usually take care of themselves. re.comm 12 provides insights and impulses in all kinds of areas. But as a summit meeting of the property sector, re.comm has other important functions: the exchange of ideas, the maintenance of contacts, networking. Part of what you are doing here is networking. And networking is always a protection against being defrauded. Whether as protection or good business sense, or perhaps simply because it's nice. re.comm participants use the breaks and evening events to meet and chat about the impressions they have gained. From my point of view, re.comm is well on the way to become the Alpbach of the real estate industry. I had high expectations, which I don't usually have, but the program was very promising and it lived up to what was promised. It is important that the topics are not real estate specific. This event provides us in real estate with what we really need: input from the outside. The participants of re.comm are therefore fit for the future. And what about you?
Are you up there riding the waves of change in real estate? Are you trend surfers? Or are you laying on the beach waiting for the tsunami to come up and hit you?